Set tier list PvP part 2. Title updated. Last time I wrote Umbrella Edge per target. But it only reflects one attack. Oh, wait. No, this doesn't work. This doesn't work because if it has per target cooldown, it'd be dodging attacks all the time. I don't think they can code that. It would work, but I don't think they can code that, right? It would be different from how other sets work right now. So it should probably dodge all attacks for 1 second. Apply major vulnerability to everyone who's attacks you dodge. So they could make it work like this. They can keep the 6-second cooldown, would probably be fine. Right now it's only one attack. I don't think it would be OP. Spelunker today? No, because it's a dungeon set. Adept Rider. Okay, let's start adding stuff here again. That's a major expedition nowadays at like all times basically. It's not very good. I don't think there's any other path to the 5-piece, or was there some stats? If you don't have any major expedition, it's not the worst thing to have, but yeah, there's something else on the 5-piece. I think what they should do with this one is it should have something else on the 5-piece as well. Oh, vacation is... yeah, I don't know if I'll be on a vacation next year yet, but I should probably toggle off the command. Gain Gallop and Major Expedition at all times. I think if you had Minor Expedition, it would be too good. Which have a lot of people zooming around. You would get 45% speed at all times from 5-piece. Would be very good, but I think it would not be very good for the game. It'd have one set just removing a lot of items, a lot of skills being used, and I don't know if that would be good. Would probably be too much value too if you compare this to other sets that provide movement speed. It's usually unique buffs like 20% from Marauder's Haste, or you can have 1 barable expedition from what's it called, the potions that when you drink a pot you get expedition for the seconds. I think if you just got expedition at all times with no condition and minor expedition, I mean it has to be double barred kind of. Maybe it would be fine. But I think a better thing to do here would be having something else on the 5-piece as well. To make it a bit more usable. But it's not one of the worst sets in the game. It's alright to have lots of speed at all times. It's a bit underrated. It's not like B tier set or A tier or S tier, but it is not as bad as people think. It's bad, but not as bad as people think. So what would we do here? Maybe weapon spell elements? So I think that would make it a lot more usable. A little bit more. I think right now it would be C tier, maybe high D tier. Maybe here. That seems right to me. Why is there a fucking ad? Out of there. Ethereal Ascension. Lots of people actually use this set, or used to use this set. I think it's terrible. I don't know if I would put it... I think slow D tier. The problem is that it comes with a huge sustain Sustain loss. Get a lot of tankiness from it. Get a huge amount of tankiness from it, but getting 20% more cost increase on block. Pin dodge break free. Not really ideal. I think they should increase the value of the armor here. I think it's fine to have a big downside, but the upside should be worth it. I think it's just worse than Pariah right now. It's definitely worse than Way of the Fire. Like, why would you ever use... Pariah at full health is 2.3, then you get up to 10.2. But why would you ever use Ethereal Ascension over Trial by Fire? Or you just get 8.5k at all times, with no downside. So I think what you should get is maybe just 10k armor straight off the bat, or more than that, because it's a pretty big downside. 20% on dodge source, break free, blocking, everything. So maybe 12k armor even. Block sprint, dodge, break free. It wouldn't even be OP. Right now it's low D tier. On the verge of being F tier. I think the armor is still worth more than the sustain loss, but barely. Alessia's Bulwark. This is a set that reduces the weapon spell damage of the target once you take any melee damage. It's a pretty unique debuff set, but I wouldn't rank it too high. I don't think it's D tier. It's minus 300 for the opponents. It's a unique thing. I'd say it's C tier though. But there's a way to fix it. There's a way to make it more usable. So have armor, max out armor, pretty good 2 to 4. But I think the 5 piece, again, it should have something extra here. And why is it only melee attacks? I think it's just when you take damage. And I think 129 for yourself. So 300 to... or when you take damage... we don't need to change the value. Bulwark. Now it's worth using. I don't think it's D tier. Let's see. Small buffs. It gets better. Or maybe it is, it's only melee attacks, but there's a lot of melee damage right now. Most of the Boproc builds are melee, for example. Ancient Dragon God is another, I think, C tier set. You can't really rate it D tier. But it's just a question of where we would put it here. Probably like here. Is there a way to fix it by increasing the values? I think most of the crafted sets, the problem is that they've been power crept over the years. Like even this one, people used to run this on some builds. But it's not really enough value. So I just bumped this up to 450. And we're gonna see more changes like this. Used to run that. Yeah, like it was popular, but it's just been power crept so much. mean, if we go way back, then like sets like Hundings and Julianos and what's it called, the Kagrenax and like other sets were used, but it's because there wasn't better alternatives. I think we increased the armor to 5000. So it's not as much as Way of the Fire at all times. But you have the versatility where you have damage when you have high health, and then you get the tankiness when you low health. Of course, it still won't be OP in current meta because you have you can just get one shot, right? You never get the armor because you get one shot, or you die from like 60% to 0, for example. But we can make it slightly better without breaking the game. Okay, what next? I think it's fine here at C. Armor Master, this also used to be popular. I think it's actually better than some of the other sets here. Can be one barred. I think Ancient Dragon Guard is, I mean, you can one bar it, but maybe it's like here. It's definitely C tier also. Won't put it here. I think Armor Master also has a pretty simple solution. Because the problem with Armor Master is that it's fine that you're encouraged to use the armor abilities. I think that's the idea of the set, right? So you don't want to change that. But you only get the max health while on the bar where you have the set. I think you should get max health as part of the buff. When you use an armor ability, you gain max health instead of having it a... So you can one bar a like max health buff. That would be really interesting and would encourage you to use the armor abilities more. I think that would be a good change. Actually, it should be 20 seconds. Why is this only 10? You don't want to use armor abilities every 10 seconds. Maybe shuffle to get this near and root immunity, but most of the buffs last a lot longer. Or, except the light armor skill, but if you use this with the heavy armor one... Or well, I guess you can use the CC immunity part, but I think it should last 20 seconds. Or 15, I think 15 is a fair compromise. This set is not really used currently. So let's rewrite that. Your physical and spell resistance. Used by... we can keep the armor value as it is. And max health by 5% for 15 seconds. Okay, now I think it's worth considering. Things that hasn't been updated since launch basically is not good. Yep. Light and heavy armor ability is also absolutely dogshit. Yeah, it's also really bad skills. I think even Elude nowadays is very meh. So you have usually something like Quick Cloak as a better alternative. Seducer. I think Seducer is... it's better than Ethereal Ascension. I don't think it's D tier. I think it's also C tier. The Construction is actually pretty nice. If you have a lot of expensive magic abilities. I put it here. It's like Alessi's Bulwark there. But how do we fix it? It has Mac Regen, Max Magica, Mac Regen, and 10% cost reduction. Hey, Windholm, how you doing? Morist. I'm working on the tier list again. I think this could be 15% is a big buff, but I think it's it still won't be OP. It's just that outdated. Tier list? Yeah, we're doing tier list, but also patch notes on how to fix them, or how to fix the bad sets. Not going over any nerfs to like current OP like good sets. I don't want that to be the focus at all. But if there's a bad set, I wanna list some patch notes where they could be a little bit more viable. So 10%, 15%. I think this would be fine. Chat, if Seducer said 15% instead of 10%, would you want to run this on Magica builds? Keep in mind you have to double bar it. I probably wouldn't. If you compare that to, like, let's say Soul Cleaver, for example, that's 21% to siphoning abilities, but it also increased the healing, it also increased the damage. That's why Soul Cleaver is S tier. This is still 6% less cost reduction than Soul Cleaver. I think 15 would be fine. Negative? No? Yeah, exactly. So you can easily bump it up to 15% without breaking the game. So that's bad. Simple. Hello. Player tier list? Yeah, no, we don't do that. That's cringe. Ashen Grip. Now I've had a bunch to say about this set over the years. I don't think it's C tier. I think Ashen Grip is B tier. There, I've said it. It is. It used to be, when I was saying a lot about Ashen Grip, it was because people were using it over Deadlands Assassin for ganking, which is retarded. You just get way more damage out of Deadlands Assassin over Ashen Grip. But you can proc Ashen Grip more often. It's more pressure and you don't really run Deadlands for ganking nowadays. It was meta back in days, but not so much nowadays. So that all of that commentary, let's just forget about it and look at things from a fresh perspective. I think B tier, low B tier. And how do we make it maybe A tier? Do we need to make it A tier? Probably not. But you could make this proc burning. You could make it proc burning, it won't be OP. It already has a chance to proc it, but I think it should just guaranteed burn. It'd be a nice it's a nice way to make it slightly more usable. But then you kind of make other sets less unique, like Cinders of Antelmir, for example. It has the guaranteed burn on it. Same with what's it called? The Flame Blossom. And Explosive Rebuke also has a guaranteed burn. And so on. I don't think you want to make every flame damage set guaranteed burn. That's a bit boring, right? So about more damage then. Burning Spellweave. Burning Spellweave, we'll get to that, but it has a unique burn, or used to have a unique burn. I don't know if they fixed that. It had a burn that stacks with other burns. Been actually thinking if that could be abused with Disdain, for example, on a Ardent Flame build. Could be interesting. That's obviously not working as intended though. It's not supposed to have that. So 4 second cooldown, I think we want to keep it at 4 seconds. You could easily make this like 3 seconds to make it slightly better. I think that's actually probably the best thing to do. 4 seconds cooldown. 3 seconds. Could get slightly more, like, better pressure out of it. Plus 33% basically, but it still won't compete with the other, like, current meta proc sets. Or things like Relic and so on. Hey, what's Swally? What the help with the Arc Shield there earlier? Healing Sound notice 16k shield while in old. Nice. So you tried the Goliath thing. Yeah, that's pretty OP for health scaling shields. Assassin's Guile. Oh. This set could be really good if poisons were good. The problem with Assassin's Guile is that poisons have a proc sense. But you know what? We can fix that. We can maybe fix that. Might be a forbidden build. Other people play that. I think I first got the idea from Kibiken, who played that in BDs. Of trying the Goliath healer. It was before subclassing. But with subclassing you can do so much more with that idea. Have they ever made a set adjustment and made a heavy set medium, for example? They have, yeah, I think. What was it? I'm 100% sure there have been sets like that. There have been sets where you had quest items that were different armor weight. Frostbite, for example, it had a heavy chest from a quest. And that would easily be best in shot for that, right? So you want to do the quest for that. I'm kinda sad they removed that. That gave a reason to do quests in the game. I don't know why they had to do that, but... Oh well. Imagine if you had a collection for quest items, unique quest items, and you could craft the heavy chest if you did the quest. It would be such a cool addition to the game. Or re-addition, because they removed that. But other than that... have they changed the armor weight of an item set entirely? I think there was some set, but I forget which one. I can't remember it right off the bat. I think Assassin's Guile is also C tier. Maybe it's above Seducer. But... Assassin's Guile 5 piece, your poison has... poisons are now guaranteed to proc. The poisons no longer have a proc sense. Or how would you write this in that tooltip? Have 100% chance to proc. Increase duration by 4 seconds. Now you can build around this. And I don't think it would be really good, because you could run the unstoppable poisons. But you still have to... Nah, would it be OP without proc sense? Maybe you double the proc sense. Of your alchemical poisons by 4 seconds. Your poisons have 100% increased chance to proc. So it could be 40%. And maybe if there was like some mythic in the future or another item set that increased poison proc sense, you could try to like build more around that. If you did get more stuff towards poison proc sense, then you could have the guaranteed proc. But I don't think a 5 piece that makes you have 100% uptime on Sissimut is balanced. Or not 100%, but close to. Because also increase the duration, right? The weakness of this set is the proc sense right now. If you increase the proc sense, it's slightly less weak, but if you make it guaranteed, then you light attack and you're just gonna be Sissimut for the next 9.5 seconds, I think. It's 5.5, right? The Sissimut poison. You do give up enchants for that, though. I mean, you can have damage too. Yeah, this would be really good if it was guaranteed to proc poisons. I think 100% making it 40% chance is fine. But right now it's not worth running this set. I've tried. Bislobo, thank you for the raid. Thank you. How was your stream? We're just doing a tier list for PvP tier list for all of the item sets, and we're also doing some patch notes on how to make the weak ones better. Hope you had a good stream. Welcome everyone. Gunchain only quest item that you actually did a quest for. Yeah, there has been more items like that in the past that gave you something. Well, Gunchain is not really unique. You can just get the heavy, normal heavy trainee piece, but Frostbite, for example, had the unique heavy chest, and there have been some other ones too, but I think that one was the only one I thought could maybe be useful. Saves you transmutes. Yeah, that is true. Unless because some sets aren't bad, it's just their relative synergy. Oh, because they're both like medium sets, right? And you don't want to run 6 medium on your build. Big shout out for Vampiric for saving the raid. Wait, what happened? Or what was about to happen? Don't tell me. This happened to me the other day. I raided Sekar at the end of my stream, and the very same second I click raid, he ends his stream. So the timing couldn't have been better. It's kind of unfortunate. My raid timings are sometimes legendary. Also, what's Vamp Erotic Hayden? Where was I? We didn't skip through anything, right? No, we did the Assassin's Skull. That's C tier, I think. Not that amazing. Chimera's Rebuke. This is a lot of sustain for your group. It's a set that returns resources when you heavy attack, but only for your team. I think it could be a good sustain set for anyone with a simple change, right? I think you guys already know what I'm about to change with this one. Based on that, where would I place it right now? I don't think it's hard to rate because it's group support, but it kind of makes you weaker yourself, so you don't get anything out of it. So for that reason, I think low C tier. So other group buff sets, they also buff you as well. With some exceptions like Lucent Echoes, but that one's really powerful in comparison. I think Chimera's Rebuke. It should also return resources for yourself when you heavy attack, or more resources. So you have to land the full heavy. Dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack. It's only one of the resources. So if you spam in heavies, it can be really nice for group support. But I think you should also benefit from it. So it's simple as that. From 3 allies to you and 3 allies. Now it's a lot more worth using. And I don't think it would be OP. Because there's some other support sets, sustain sets for group that don't require heavy attack that are really powerful. One I need to farm actually from the new trial. I haven't done that yet, but the recovery convergence is a good example. Can be insanely good. It doesn't require heavy attacks. Often if you heavy attack as a healer, it means you're not healing during that time, right? And your teammates probably die. So you don't want to be too focused on spamming heavies. Cloth the Forest Raid. I think this one can be good. It's class abilities, especially with subclassing. There's a lot more class abilities contrast to weapon abilities or scribing abilities. So I think this one is B tier. I'd say it's better than Asengrim. I wouldn't put it up here though. Does this need any changes? I think you can buff it, honestly. So right now I think it's 1500 or is it 2000? I think it's 2000 crit chance, right? Yeah, it's 2037. I think this could be 2,500. Wouldn't be broken. It's only class abilities. It doesn't buff you lights or heavies, any proc set, like none of that. You just get more out of it. Say 2,500. Or what's the value from Major Savage Rate? 2,629. I think that's for consistency, we just have the same value. That would be a good buff. W mod. Having quest items worth actually getting would be nice. Something as simple as the Bright Dagger was appreciated. Yeah, back before transmutation and graded item drops, it was an easy way to get some item you need. I think what they should do is they should bring back the unique quest drops, having sets drop in different armor weights, but only for certain pieces, and only if you did the quest. And then have you be able to recraft that quest item. Would be a good quality of life change. Clever Alchemist, this one is not bad. I've used Clever recently, I think. But I don't think it's A tier. High B tier? It can be good. I think it's A tier, but low A tier. I think it has more use cases than Basalt or Etheric Lancer, Umbral, any of the sets we've already listed here. Would I change Clever in any way? I don't think so. Not gonna do a patch note for that. Provides you a lot of weapon spell damage. It's a really good increase in damage for the 20 seconds. Goes well with Paylock and whatnot. If you compare it to like Rallying Cry, for example, you get 375 more weapon spell damage. But you lose the tankiness, which is why it's definitely not higher on A tier, and it's definitely not S tier. Cold Harbor's favorite. Oh, it's a very short radius. I think that makes it D tier. Is Chimer's Rebuke C tier or D tier? I think it's D tier. High D tier. Cold Harbor's a little bit better, I would say. Something like this. Split it there. There's a way to make Cold Harbors usable. It has a delay. But I don't think you change the delay. I think you change the radius. 5 meters to 8 meters. Anything that's 5 meter radius is usually disappointing. It makes it very hard to build around. Scaling based on max magic or stamina is fine. You and group members near him, that's like a 5 meter radius. It doesn't say that on the tooltip, but it's a very small circle. Eight meters would make it a lot more usable. Especially with the 2-second delay. Remember how Dagger was so expensive on traders? Was worth doing the quest. Yeah, it was. I think I sold a few of those. Crit Riposte, okay, this one is really good. Used by bulk groups, it's also used by solo builds. I think Crit Riposte, it's either high A tier or it's S tier. It is best in shot on quite a few healer builds in particular. I think high A tier. I don't want to put it in S tier. It's not quite as prevalent as Rallying Cry, which you can use on... and you don't really build around this. Like, you can use something else than Crit Riposte. It's just really good. I think high A tier. And I don't think we need to change Crit Riposte. So we skip the patch note for that. This provides your whole team a lot of mitigation by debuffing the opponent. And that stacks with Rallying Cry as well. Very underrated set, by the way. Really good 2-4 crit resistance as well. Crafted set so you can run any armor weight. Trickery? I don't value Trickery too high. I think it's right here with Ashen Grip, probably B tier. It's a bit meh. It's a bit meh. It's actually... I value Basalt more than Trickery on DK, for example, because you get guaranteed major heroism. Despite of the bugs and the clunkiness. It's better to get guaranteed heroism than RNG heroism. Usually major protection, whatnot, you can get that from Monomyth and like so many other sources. Major expedition, you usually have them. Usually you have all of the buffs with Trickery that you would get from Trickery. Especially after Scribing, Healing Soul is always going to give you major vitality. And even if you don't have any of the buffs, Trickery is not really... It's just RNG. Sometimes you get bad RNG and you die because of that. I don't think I would ever rate it A tier. Is there any way to buff it? I think there might be. I think Trickery is one of those sets that have been power crept too much. I think the duration should be longer. You can buff it a little bit. It's not gonna make it much better, but... What if instead of 9 seconds, you had 10 seconds? Huge, right? Huge buff. But it's one of those things that you could just easily... Or, wait, no, it's 21 seconds. It's every 9 seconds. What if you had less cooldown? What if it was 8 seconds? Would be fine. Small buff. I think it should get that. In the current state of the game. Daring Corsair, this is the one that increased the... is a cost reduction to weapon spell damage... weapon abilities, right? And it gives you minor heroism after... I actually forgot what this set does. But it's not very amazing. It's cost reductions and heroism. Yeah, cost reduction of weapon abilities by 10%. And minor heroism. I think again the cost reduction could be better. I think this could be 15% and because it's only weapon abilities. So it's not gonna cost reduce the cost of few heals, for example. Unless you use rest of stuff. Where would you rank this right now? Definitely not B tier. I think it's D tier. Only around here. It could be better. We only buff one part of the set. So if Seducer is 15%, then this should also be... Seducer reduces the cost of heals as well. It's a crafted set. This one's only... oh, this is crafted as well, but... I think 15% on weapon abilities is worth less than 15% on magicka costs. Especially after subclassing. So you can have the minor heroism as an added bonus there, compared to Seducer. Down less compared, this is the CC break, right? No, that's oh no, it is the CC break. Unchained Aggressor is the major berserk of the CC break, and this is the one that auto CC breaks. But I think it's kinda bad. It can be a lot of stam sustain, but I think the CC break is kinda slow usually. Compared to manual CC break. Which is the main problem with sets like this. And that will get you killed in the current meta. I don't think it's F tier. Maybe here, something like that. It's only every 21 seconds, right? You have max health as an additional 5-piece bonus. Yeah, and you have the shed cooldown with the slippery CC. They don't want people to get free CC breaks every time people get CC. It makes sense. How would you buff this? Because it's not good enough right now. What if you had a heal attached to this? Then it would be worth it. Maybe a flat heal, not something scales. It could be like 6k tooltip, maybe? Nothing too strong. Big shield insta after you're hit by the disabling effect. Or damage shield, yeah. I think there's a lot of really good damage shield sets, contrast to sets that heal. Like Imperium is really good, Hatchling can be really good. Like all of the damage shield sets get good values, typically. But the healing sets, they don't really do that nowadays. Like Mara's is usually less than 10%, for example. So I think we could use more healing sets in this game that are worth you running. You break free for no cost and heal for 8,000. No, it actually does something impactful, hopefully. Or somewhat impactful. But right now, definitely not that great. Deadline Demolisher, okay, well, S tier. Needless to say why. It's just extremely strong. Is it? Would I rate it higher than Soul Cleaver? This kinda enables bass builds right now. Bass builds are really good. I think it's, yeah, has way more builds that can use it than Soul Cleaver. Easy S tier. That you build around, incredibly good. Let's move on, we don't need to buff that one, that's for sure. Death's Wind. Ooh, this kinda same as Dauntless Combatant. If it had a heal, it could be decent. Because this one has to, but then it's the same as Dragor's Heritage, if it has a heal. Maybe this one should do damage instead. And then it would be good. But right now it's definitely... I would say D tier. I don't think F tier for this one. Can probably save someone if they drop low health. CC break. You have the knockback when you CC break, right? Oh, no, it's when you take damage when you're under 35. Then you knock back and stun. 8-meter radius is good. Is 15-second cooldown necessary? I don't think so. I think 7 seconds or 8 seconds. It should do damage too, right? But what, how much damage? Or maybe it doesn't need to deal damage. We can just buff it slightly instead of changing the set entirely. That already makes it more usable. So they can make small buff. The idea is that we try to buff things slightly. So if it's not buffed enough, if it can be buffed again. You don't want to over buff things, right? Galalauber, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Diamond's Victory, this one is another, I think, C tier, low C tier. I don't like Diamond's Victory. It only buffs your damage. It doesn't affect your healing. There are sets that provide similar value and buff your healing. It's a bit more reliable than some like Elemental Succession, so I don't want to put it in D tier. But the value you get is not super amazing. If you could stack this, if you could have both buffs, it would be good. Maybe too good, though, because that would be a lot of weapon spell damage. I think what you do here is just do the 171 weapon spell damage. We can have a plus here, so we add this. And now it's maybe worth using. Which again doesn't buff healing, just damage. There's proc conditions as well that you need to meet. So it's not like you slot the set and you get big damage. Dragon's Appetite, this one I wish was better. I don't think it's even B tier nowadays. Dragon's Appetite, every time you try it, it disappoints you. You don't get a lot of healing, it doesn't really affect your damage that much. I think it's C tier. And I think it's below Corpse Burster. Which is also a disappointment. Now, how would you fix this? I think I know how. And we're gonna buff Jarkin as well later. On 25, 330. Jarkin value. Or we change the proc condition. Maybe make the heal stack from Bleach as well. Definitely a bleed set. I think it should be more valuable. What if you had increased your damage done to bleeding enemies by 100 per bleed? So if you had multiple bleeds, you could get really good value out of it. And I think the heal takes too long. Maybe 5 stacks? They did this recently with a lot of other sets. Like Twice Fanged and Elite Dragon Guard and whatnot. They went down from recurrent huge stack amounts to 5 stacks or less even. I think Twice Fanged is 3 stacks now, right? So that could be an easy buff to the defensive aspect of the set. They do clearly have a concept here where they want you to have non-bleed damage as well. You don't want to change the set too much, you don't want to make it a full bleed set. So I think we should reduce the stack count to 5 stacks. This game needs more good defensive sets. or viable defensive sets. I don't think this makes it viable, but you probably get more than 1% of your healing from Dragon's Appetite after this. If you halve the stack count. I think that's fair. Still keeps the theme of the set. Druid Sprayed. This one is actually S tier. Or let's say A tier. High A tier. Because Trainee is gonna be S tier. You do want two Druids on a lot of builds, but you can also use double Trainee on Magicka builds, for example. So there's definitely way less cases for Druid Sprayed than Trainee, but if you run ability enhancing weapons on the front and back, most set Mythic, 5-piece on the body, then your only option is to Trainee and Druids, or double Trainee. So Druids for that reason is A tier. Don't know if you can call it S tier because you run 1-piece on some builds. Yeah, but I would say it's A tier. It's the second best option. Best option gets S tier for the 1-piece filler. When you can run, when you run more set and can do like 1-piece Magma and 1-piece Trainee or something like that. I don't think we need to change that. We could change the... you could actually change this, but not the 1-piece. Or maybe the 1-piece, it could be the same as Trainee. Why does it have to be less than Trainee? And I think you should get way more than what Trainee provides with the later stacks, especially. I think this should start scaling at the Trainee value. Because when do you ever see people run full Druid Sprayed? Unless they're memeing. So I think it should start at 1454 health. It's 1454, right? 1454. We gotta change all of this now though. So new values to balance it out with Trainee. So how much was Trainee max magic on? Also 1400, right? 1454. But do you want to have a reason to run Trainee still? So maybe just a small buff to the second stat? So maybe instead of having 1096, you could have the 1206, right? Is it Magicka even, or is it Stam on the Druids? It's Magicka. You rarely ever use more than one Druid. Actually, you never use more than one Druid. Or you could change the order and have the 1454 stamina here. Why have the same order as Trainee? That's probably better. Now if you want to run a Stam build, you can do 2 Druid Sprayed instead of 2 Trainee. Or instead of a Trainee Druid and doing the attributes into health. Or into stamina, I mean. That's probably better. Simple, right? And then 3-piece would be Magicka. 1454 Magicka. 4-piece, how much would this be then? 4-piece is still the same max health, why? But you get 50% modifier on the Stem and Magica? Why? Why is that a thing? Need to do some calculating here on what the values should be. Wanna just bump up the base stats and then have the same scaling going higher. So 1096 to 1565. I need the website for this, I think. I can't calculate this in my head. It's a really good website for any percentages. 1096 to how much was it? 1565. So it goes up by 42.79. Wait, how much was it? 42.79. Ricey, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Thank you. How you doing? Thank you, Prime. Hope the build is coming along well. We're actually making a tier list. Not a build this time. We're just in the build editor. Because we're making patch notes for the weak sets. Or what should be changed. Druid Spade is not a bad set, but it could be changed to be on par with Trainee. So we're doing the craftable sets right now. We did last time we did the class sets and the arena sets. Just trying to write what the values should be here on the patch notes. So we need 1454 plus 42.79%. 2076. Oh, it's actually 1206 for some reason on live. But it should be 2076. And this still wouldn't be best in slot for any health stacking build or anything like that. Or any build for that matter, but it's probably more usable. Hopefully. It goes up by 42.76, which means that the Stem and Magica should also be oh, it should also be 2000. Because here it's oh, it's 1565. Yeah, because it's a later set bonus, right? So we can justify that. But is it going up too much now? 1565. It's too weak right now on live. We do 42.79, which is the current modifier. It would be 2.2k. That would make it 5 piece of crafty Alphic, right? Which is not the most max Magica you can get. Especially after the other patch notes we wrote for the weak sets like Crafty Alphic. This one's 2.5k. And you get some like not optimal stats like Stam and whatnot. So that should be fine. You do 2.2k, 2234. 34. Oh, stamina, right? Because we do different order. So you can't even max Magica stack to break hardened board or anything. Just won't happen. For magic on the 6 piece, then 7 piece should be here it's starting to get good values, but you're spending a lot of lot of set pieces to do that. Why is health scaling less than the... Oh, they keep the same values. Okay, we don't want to change that too much, I think. But you should get more value if you really stack this. So I think you do one more scaling for the stats here. We can calculate how much we get, like max magic and max health. So it's not too OP. 1722, we can do 1722 plus the 42%. So this would be 2458. A second bet, how you doing? Place 20% increase max resource on 12th base. No, that would be too OP. Because then it probably go way above the current possible limits of max magical. Because that's not the intent of the set, right? It's a crafted set. It's very simple. You don't want it to be the obvious best in slot 12 items for anything really. But it can be better, because no one runs this. Or if people run this set, they run one piece. So it's one of the few sets with one piece that are not most sets. So I think the value should ramp up. But maybe only for the last ones. Because we don't want to overbuff. So maybe we can keep this as the relatively high value still. 2076. 2458. I want to save that for later. 2458. But this should still be 2076, I think. And then the last bonuses, they would bring like 5-piece values. Value-wise. This would be 234 stamina. 9-piece would be 2234 magical instead. And now we get to the big values. So 10-piece. This should be the 2458. And this should be do we just do 2234 plus 42.9%, 3.1k. It might not even be opium. It's a lot of stats, but you get a lot of your off stat. It's not really gonna benefit you. So right now you would get 1500, like who wants to run that? You get stamina for the 11-piece and 12-piece would be the Magicka then. So you can run like 11-piece and max out Magicka for Hardened Wood. Now let's see how much do you get overall, if that was the... if you were to run something like this. Let's count the health first. So at 4 piece you would gain 3.5k health. 5.6k, that's 5 piece of like Plague Dog. Let's see if I get this right. 26 plus 2076. That's at 7 piece. 2458. She would get 8k health. I don't think that's OP. Like Plague Dog, for example. You do get the other stats too. But I think we wanna buff Plague Dog too. And you get more health from that. So if you just wanna stack health, then Plague Dog is probably still better. But maybe it's too good. Maybe we reduce the values a little bit. Do like minus 10% of the current ones. In terms of Magicka, this would be actually not too good for the Magicka, but you get all of max health as well, which is also necessary. 3189. So you would get 9.1k max Magicka with 12 items though. So you have only 2 slots left for a monster set or mythic and 1 piece. Get 9.1k Magicka and 9.1k stam. I think it's probably fine actually. So you get no weapon spell elements, you don't get armor, you don't get any regens. I think if you stack Magicka sets, you can still get way more than this. But again, you don't want to overbuff things, I think. I like that it's scaling up. Let's go minus 10% on all of them. $2010. That's still 2010. Eight minus 10. That's 212. What's back? Get it done. Clips, tell you, we're making a tier list right now. Block burst, 2 seconds, always ready. Block Tinkaton. Sounds like some bow procs. Restoring Light, Animal Companions, Assassination. I've seen those tricks before. 2870 here should be fine. Okay. I think with these values, it would be better than right now. But not OP. You might want to use more than 1 piece Druid Spirit, basically. Just currently, like, who runs anything more than 1 piece Druids? And they should change the order, because right now Trainee is health and Magicka, and Druids is also health and Magicka. Why not health and stamina? But yeah, still A tier for the 1 piece. Eternal Hunt, this one's very meh nowadays, but I don't think it's as bad as the I think it's poly C tier, low C tier. This can be very annoying. How would we... there's no cooldown on this one. Can't reduce cooldown. I think the radius of the mine should be bigger. That could make it usable. They're kinda easy to avoid right now. If you increase the radius, would be a lot more annoying, but I think it's a 4-meter rune at the moment. I think the route should last longer, but maybe you start with the radius increase. I don't think 8 meters is fair. I think 6 meters, because there's no cooldown on this one. You don't want to drop some gigantic 8-meter route runes everywhere when you dodge roll, right? I think 6 meters is fine though. It might be even less than 4 meters. It's really, really small, the mine. I'm not 100% sure about the 4 meters, but it's definitely not 6 meters right now. Yeah, I think that's a simple change. Would make the set better. There's no mythic. I see. Would you get more damage with the mythic though? The monomyth or... Especially next patch, the new mythic's kind of bonkers. Eyes of Mara, I actually used this set in like 2017, but it's kind of bad nowadays. So you had to run resto stuff on many classes to heal back in the days. It's poly D tier nowadays. I would say below Hunt Leader. It's not F tier. They can definitely buff it though, especially after subclassing and striving and all of the things they've added. That lost a lot of value. It's 15% cost reduction to rest of stuff abilities. It was a viable backbar on like DK for example, back in the days, but that cost reduction needs to be a lot bigger. It's only rest of stuff abilities. It does reduce the cost of the ulti as well, but especially with subclassing, people don't really want to use rest of stuff ulti if they play healer. Ooh, but you can't have it too high, because if you reduce the cost of your ulti and rest of ulti a lot, maybe it's still fine. It's only on one target, but it would make you kind of hard to kill if you're spamming rest ultis. Like 1v1s and whatnot. I think they can reduce it a bit more though. 20%. It's probably still garbage, but slight buff is in order for this one. I wouldn't mind if they buff it more. This means less Templar healing ultis. It's only one target that gets healed by Restore. So honestly, it could be higher, but 20%. Fellowship's Fortitude. I believe this set is not in the game yet, but it's the set that makes your companion absorb some damage. For PvP, obviously that's F tier. And I don't think there's a way to have any patch notes for that one. Let's see, is it on build editor? It is. Oh, no, this is the other one. This is the other one that's not in the game yet. We can have patch notes for this one. It's still F tier. That's terrible. So you get more value from a 5-piece... way more value from 5-piece Trial by Fire. And I believe you get more value than 6k health from Plague Dog, right? And neither of those sets are gonna be ranked too high. 4k, 5k, 6k, yeah, you get more than 6k. So they just have their values wrong on a set that's not even released yet. Yikes. Why would you ever run that? Why would you ever run this then? It's kind of like a reverse Shattered Fate. Because you get nothing else than armor from 5 piece. You don't want to make it too stronger than Trial by Fire, which has a proc condition for its armor, but that proc condition might as well not exist. You're always gonna get it. Trial has armor on 2 to 4, right? Yeah, it does. So you get 10k total. I think 8500 would be more than fair. Just a small buff. You don't get T2 to 4, but you don't have proc condition. And no, you don't actually need to even test this set to know it's bad. Sometimes 425, 8500 small buff. Still Garbo, but less Garbo. And I think the 12 piece is bad too, by the way. I won't slot a Moss set that gives me major protection at all times. So you can have sets that give you similar amount of mitigation and give you something else, like Blind, for example, is usually 7 to 8% damage mitigation from the absorb damage, and then you get minor force on top of that, and you give it to the teammates as well. So even the 12 piece is not bad. And I think because you're investing so much in this set, I think this could be more than Plague Dog, the 10 piece. It could be a little bit more. It's 7500 health. Oh, it's 6020. And this should be major and minor protection. And still poly not worth. But might be worth considering. Fortified Brass, this set is that's F tier. That is actually F tier. It's just so much worse than the other alternatives. It has no proc condition, so it's gonna be hard to patch note that one. You just get less than any other, like Pariah, for example, at 100% health is almost worth more than the 5 piece of Fortified. I think this should be 5.2k 5 piece. And that's worth considering. Not really, but again, small buff. 3460 armor, 5280. Small buff. Is there godlike Arkane's PP build you found on the internet uses Fortified Presto? Why am I not surprised? It's F tier. Is it even better than these ones? I don't think so. Okay, what's next? Gravestake Collector, also F tier. Actually, this might be the worst one so far. Or actually, no, you get some stats from that one. And this is better than Fortified Brass, by the way. Just wanna point that out. 7.4k and Fortified Brass, you get 6.5k, right? Yeah, you get 6.5k. So you trade max health 2-piece for a armor line, which is worth stat-wise when running the upcoming set. So who knows, maybe those S tier Iconist builds will run this new set in the next patch. They'll have 5-piece Fellowship's Fortitude, because it's slightly better. But yeah, Garbo for the same reasons. Gravestake Collector though, that is bad. That is really bad. This is a set that gives you sustain. It's like when you kill an enemy that you recently damaged, there's a thing you can collect that gives you Stamina Magicum. Only one can appear at a time. I think it should also heal you, at the very least. In order to be worth running. Or what if each one increased your damage done? That would be cool. Then you would have a reason to collect them, right? Even if you're max resources. Usually what we do is we just try to buff the set slightly, change the numbers to something that's more appropriate. But in this case, I think you can you could do a slight redesign of the set. The proc condition is already... Oh, but PvE. If the damage done modifier is too good in PvE, it's gonna break things. So you can't do that. You could have a heal over time. I think that would be fine. Not a burst heal, but a heal over time. That lasts 10 seconds or something. Restore 4, 5, 6, 4. Well, let's just do the health as well. Stamina Magicka and health. Why is there only one gravestake can appear at a time? Why? Well, it's still gonna be Garbo, but less Garbo. Heartland Conqueror, this one is kinda hard to rate actually. I don't think it's D tier. I think it's around Dragon's Appetite value. Very disappointing. You test it and you think, oh, I'm gonna proc shield on every proc now of my AoEs, or nah, it doesn't really. It's not really noticeable. I think it's just as disappointing as Appetite. And how would we fix that? Is there any way to fix that? We might have to skip this one. I mean, 2 to 4 could be better, but then you make it a... There's a similar set called Symmetry of the Build, which has better 2 to 4 piece. It works better with sword and board on the back bar, for example. Or front, doesn't matter. I think 100% is just such a nice number to have. It makes things simpler to understand for players who see this set. So if you make it like 110% or 120%, it gets very confusing for most people. So I don't think you can buff the number. What if you also increase the effectiveness of your armor traits? That would be OP, right? That would be really OP. Just reinforced or impen would be kinda insane. No, I don't think we changed this. I don't know how to change it. Like one obvious way would be having 110% instead of 100%, for example. But that makes it more confusing. And 200% or something, some round number like that, easy to understand number would be just OP. So I guess we skip that one, but it's definitely, you should see it here right now. Highland Sentinel, well for PP it is not too great. You have to stand still. You can, in theory, you can use this with some like Shriek and still keep it active, but I think it's low D tier or maybe F tier. I think it's F tier in PvP. You don't want to kill your mobility, you get no value out of that set. Although they did change it, I think. So you get always some crit chance, right? Yeah, you always get 986. That makes it... that's a recent change, I think. It required more stacks before. It didn't have any just passive crit chance. I think it's low D tier now. I don't think we want to change that because PvE. You don't want to break it. His Spark. This is the one that gives you major evasion, right? While you're blocking. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, while you're bracing you gain major evasion. I think that's dog shit. I think they need to add something to this. I don't think you can just... You know what this should do? I think his sap, or his spark, should be like his sap. While you're bracing gain major evasion. We can keep that. You gain major evasion. And every time you're hit by AoE, while you're bracing, you gain major evasion and heal for 2000. I think it's 2020 on his sub, right? We can have the same number. Oh no, it's 2000. Why do I have 2020 on some builds? Maybe it's because I have like 1% healing done or something from somewhere, but heal for 2000 when hit by area of effect abilities. Or hit by an area of effect ability. Boom, now it's good. Or not good, because you have to be bracing and get hit by AoE specifically in a meta where bow procs and surprise attacks and incaps and overloads and like most things are single target, but there's still like sharks and jabs especially this would counter jabs. I think having rock paper scissors kind of things is good for MMOs. And I don't think this set would be OP if it was a semi his sap. Would be interesting. But right now it's low D tier. Or is it even D tier? I think it's F tier. You get major evasion so easily. And I think it's the only effect you get. You don't even get max health on the 5 piece. Bonsku, how you doing? Are you from Finland? Yes, I am. Probably spotted the accent, right? Well, yeah, F tier for... It's probably high F tier. I'd say it's better than Permafrost. Hist Whisperer. This one returns magic when you take damage. 0.25 second cooldown. This one is bad. But not F tier bad. I think... Oli here. Huomasin. Morjesta. Kans Suomesta selvästi. Nyt the accent. Yep. It's easy to spot. I think this one we can fix by... He's from Greece? No, that's an inside joke. I don't know why. But they... There was a... Okay, I know why, because there was a guy once who always asked me if I'm from Greece. He would tune in every stream, and every time he would ask the same question, are you from Greece? I'd be like, nope, I'm from Finland. It just became a inside joke. Thank you for the follow. Kiitti followksesta. Oh, wait, no, this is the other set. There is another one that heals you when you take... or doesn't heal you, but gives you magicka when you take damage. So this one also, but same thing here. We just buff the numbers and this one's decent. So right now you could be landing lights and heavies and it would not be... I mean, it's pretty good value though. If you're landing lights every second, 318, that's 600 stamina mech regen. But the problem is that you're not landing lights and heavies every second. People dodge roll, people line of sight. You line of sight. So I think the value could be more, but... Hey, Arcanic, how you doing? Don't underestimate Xanmir's Serpent's Disdain. We haven't rated those yet. Serpents is gonna be S tier though, spoilers. I don't see anyone using this set. We can slightly buff the 5-piece, I think. But I think this is better than what we... Because I thought it was the other set. I think this one is probably over here. It's C tier, I won't try and get higher, but... It could be... 318 to, let's say, 350. Just a small buff. Probably still not worth running, but... But you probably need to buff the heavy attack part as well. So that should be 700. So 636, 700. And the heal should be stronger, actually. But it's kinda simple now, it just returns the same amount of everything. I can keep that. Tried that at some point, it was pretty underwhelming. Yeah, I think it's probably C tier. I don't think it's D tier though. Like, you probably had some decent numbers from it sometimes, but it's gonna be inconsistent when you have to line of sight or your opponent's line of sight. It's not like having Red's Vitality. Which we're also gonna rank at some point, and you can guess where the ranking's gonna be. Hunting rates, I don't think it's F tier, but it's definitely low D tier. Hunting rates, there's also a way to fix that, or make it slightly better. I've been waiting for this one actually. It's about time they changed these sets. So Hunnings right now is 300. Why is it 300? You have Rallying Cry giving you 300. From one bar. With the same 2 to 4. I think Hunnings rates should be... It's a stam set. It's stam on the 3-piece. Julianos is the counterpart. I think it should have... Stamina on the 5-piece, and I think the 5-piece should be 400 weapon and spell damage. And still wouldn't be good, but it would be decent. I think that's fair. Would probably bump it up from D tier to like high C tier or something like that. Innate Axiom, this is better than Hunnings, but... How much better? It's kind of bad to... I think it's probably over here somewhere. So it's the one that increases your damage done by class abilities by 400, and it has a double 3-piece bonus. You could rank this higher for the double 3-piece, but you rarely see that being used. Yeah, and you get 400 to class abilities. I think this could be 500. 400, 500. Iron Flask, this one is also kind of meh. It is one barable, but you need to run bot cooldowns. It's not D tier though, I think this is C tier if you run the bot cooldown shenanigans. Played once as MP in OCP in Axiom. Yeah, it was very popular back in the days. You could, especially on night plates, lots of night plates ran it. But it was before there were better sets. It's just been power crept a lot over the years. I think Iron Flask definitely has to be above these sets. Poly here. But I don't know how to fix that. Or we can make it better, I guess. It's more duration, I think, 30 seconds. And more armor. I think it should be 8500. Ten seconds should be, or 30 seconds should, 20 seconds should be 30 seconds. So now you don't need, you can have full uptime without bot cooldowns, but you don't need 3 infused ones anymore. Like them to buff the base 2, 3, and 4 set bonus for Twiceborn. Never buffed, never buff. Beat that sentence with an ugly pen. Twiceborn, I think it should also increase the bonus of the Mundus. Or something like that to be worth running, but we'll get to that in a moment. Kagrenox. I mean, people run this set for the rest cooldown reduction in Zergs and stuff. I think it has a place in the game, but it's definitely kind of meh. I mean, it does one thing well. I don't know if you want to change that though. People who enjoy racing others playing Battlefield Medic. I actually saw a funny Battlefield 6 Medic clip yesterday, random thoughts. But I think people who enjoy that, this set has a place for them. I don't think you want to change it too much. I definitely don't think you should buff the rest speed. But I can't rank it higher than C tier. We don't have patch notes for that. Quats Gladiator, this could be better. I think it's on the disappointment category. Along with Hardland Conqueror, Dragon's Appetite, East Whisperer, Corpse Burster. But how would you buff this set? It gives a lot if people are in Execute. Maybe it could start giving up some... start giving some value at like 50%. What if you got, let's say, 400? It probably causes lag if you have to have all of these extra calculations. I think this is also a set you cannot really change. It's really good if you just wanna get some huge major strats and whatnot. Or J-beams, but I think if you buff this, it's not very good for the game. If you buff the value, if you make it even more likely that you just get instant by Execute. Second buff that gives you 7 of weapon spell mass for 50% to 25. I think you could increase the threshold. I think 25 is... people usually heal up before that. And I don't think people run this in PvP right now, so you could maybe make a change like that. 25% to 33. It's a small buff, but it would make it more reliable. So then you can use the Execute at like 30%. You get extra damage on the application of the Execute with Mage's Threat, for example. And then the Explosion deals the extra damage as well. So you're more likely to get to the Execute threshold. 75 is low, most already holding block and healing out of that. Yeah, exactly. Or people just heal up before you get to that. 33 I think is more fair. So what's about American Lurk? How you doing? Doing good. Thank you for asking. It's been a chill stream. Did some BGs earlier, now we're just making imaginary fix the game patch notes for fun and ranking stuff for fun. Love Julianos right next to Huntings. Where's Huntings here? It's probably better because Magica. But same thing as with Huntings, we can just copy pasta. This would be Magica. Legacy of Cards. Earlier we had a patch note for the Assassin's Guile. Your poisons have 100% increased sense to proc. We can have the same one on Legacy of Cards. Because you cannot have a, like, poisons are guaranteed to proc. You can't increase the duration. Either one of those would make this set OP. It's currently balanced by the proc sense. But what you could do is you could have combinations where you run this set and Assassin's Guile. And you build around the poisons. Not with a 5-piece, but with a 10-piece, effectively. That way you're making more of a sacrifice. Building around that. And then you can justify having a, like, 80% chance to proc the poison. If it's multiplicative. If you make it additive, which it probably should be, then it would be a 60% chance to proc poisons. With the base 20% plus the 100% and 100%, you get to 60%. So right now this set is terrible. But how terrible? I think it's above some of the sets here, but it's a bad proc set basically. They don't need to increase the damage of this set. I think there's plenty of options for a dot proc set kind of shenanigans, but I think this should also give you a way to increase the poison proc size. Right now it's more than 285 usually. This is damage every second. It's only when your alchemical poisons do damage, I think. Skinny Cheeks, thank you for the raid. Thank you. How was your stream? We're doing some patch notes for sets. I might have been inspired by what you did with the skills and PvE part of the game, but trying to make some small buffs to everything without hopefully breaking the game, so we're just keeping in mind all the PvE stuff and buffing sets that are not really being used. I hope you had a good stream. Welcome everyone. Felprax, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Jonakrin, thank you for the follow as well. We have our patch notes here. So we go through all of the sets and the tier list, of course. It's for PvP, it's not for PvE. We have so far we've done the arena sets and class sets. We're doing craftable sets right now. And Kiki Hilso, thank you for the follow. Thank you. So many sets need love? Yeah, they do. We're trying to buff some of them on Legacy of Cards right now. I think the problem in PvP with sets like Assassin's Guile is that the poisons are not reliable. It's 20% proc sense. But if you make them guaranteed proc sense, then they're going to be OP, because you can have something like CC immunity, for example, and you have almost 100% uptime. But what you could do is 100% increase proc sense, and then you have 40% instead of 20. If you add another set, then you're building around that with 2 sets. Now it's maybe justifiable to have 60% chance, right? So stuff like that. So this is disease damage when damage on targets afflicted by alchemical poison, and we can do plus 100% poison proc sense on this one as well. I think that could be cool. And not broken. And Nini Ure, thank you for the follow. And Felbox, how you doing? Returning player here, do they still do double XP events regularly? They do. I think there's one right now, the Halloween event, right? Precious, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Much appreciated. And thank you for the follow as well. Thank you. But yeah, there's an XP event right now. They also have the wall event. You can actually do the Halloween event tickets and the wall event at the same time. So you get one of the boxes and the event tickets from doing the dolmen thingies in Solstice. Yeah, I think this alone, if you have the Assassin's Guile Poison Proxence edition, I think this is fine like this. Magnus's gift is a 10% chance to return the magical cost of your ability. I think for the same reason as Seducer, it's kinda meh. I think the chance could be higher. Where's Seducer? It's like value-wise it's the same. 10% magical cost reduction and 10% chance to reduce the or refund the cost of your magical costing ability. That's the same. It's gonna wind up the same magical cost reduction basically. Seducer was, I think, C tier. Yeah, C tier. And I think if this was 15%, it would be worth. Or maybe not worth, but it would be better. We're trying to make safe buffs to things that are not gonna break things. 10% to 15%. Oh, it is 15% right now. When did they change that? I'm 100% sure this used to be 10%. But people still don't run this. You don't have anyone running Magnus. I don't want to make it too broken. I don't think 20% is... we can leave this out for now. I thought it was 10%. I think Seducer should be 15%. Just like Magnus. It's another reason to make it 15. Acuity. Ooh, Acuity is S tier. Acuity is something you build around, and it does what it does really well. It's very effective. I think it's very common as well. I think over here is fine. You don't need to change Acuity. Acuity is fine. Might of the Lost Legion. This is F tier for PvP. It gives you Empower when you block. Empower, of course, is useless in PvP, unfortunately. So I think this is something that... if they ever change Empower to be useful in PvP again, it could be a nice set, but... I don't think we can change this, it's just F tier. Same as any other set that only works on monsters and... or like very PvP oriented sets, they're just F tier for PvP. More cooldown, this is bad. I'd say it's... No, it's better than Legacy of God and Huntings, but it's D tier. It's very easy to guide it, and the damage isn't that amazing. Bottom F tier? More cooldown? No, I don't think it's bottom F tier. There's a lot worse things than more cooldown. But it's definitely D tier. Is there any way to fix it? By buffing the damage, there could be. You could buff its damage by 10%, wouldn't break the game. So we should have a patch note for that. Base 122, let's make it 600. And we could have 0.5. It's probably some spreadsheet friendly number for that, but it should be better. Coefficient. So buff like this wouldn't break the game, would just make a bad set slightly less bad. Corin, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Might of the Lost... Oh, yeah, no, it's bottom. You're right. Or is it bottom tier? I think you're more likely to win fights in PvP if you have Might of the Lost Legion than if you have VMA 2-8 or VMA bow in PvP. Although it's not super clear. Something like that. Hello, Current. How you doing? Argent, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Naga Shaman is not terrible. I mean, it's bad, but I would say it's here. It's not up here. It's in the disappointment category. I think there's a way to fix Naga Shaman. The problem is the duration. It has 6-second cooldown and 6-second duration. If it had more duration, I think this could be fine. It gives you minor mending, which people usually have when playing healer builds, which you probably want with Naga Shaman. But this should have... I think this should have 10-second duration. You still need to cast shields very frequently, but you can at least have 100% uptime on the buffs. I think that's fair. Or you reduce the cooldown. I think cooldown reduction is probably safer. Then it kind of encourages you to use damage shields very often, which is the idea of the set. 6 seconds cooldown, or you reduce the cooldown entirely, but you can actually reduce cooldown just entirely. You don't want to spam damage shields, you run out of magicka doing that. I don't think you need to have a cooldown on a set like this. Gives minor vitality and minor mending, which is nice, but not if your uptime is like 20% because of the cooldown and the duration. So now you have 6-second duration and you wanna be using damage shields very often. Newman Acolyte, value-wise, I mean it has better 2 to 4 piece than Julian's and Huntings, but it's kinda on the same level. Maybe it's a little bit better, but it's bad. You lose a lot of value because of the cost reduction, or the cost increase. So I think you should get more out of it. If you have a downside on a set, it should provide more of an upside than sets that have no downside. Because there are sets that give you the same amount of weapon spell damage, or more, without any downside. It's only 400, I thought it was 450. Should be 500. It should be 500. At least, and it still would be bad, I think. But it's an easy change. Night Mother's case, people run this. I don't personally like it. Because that's a buff that you can get from skills, but also there's sets that provide you more value, even if you don't have the buff. New Moon Watterson 2-8 Necros was 440 and nerfed? Why would that be nerfed? This makes no sense, right? New Moon used to be popular, it's a bit irritating that they sort of revisit old sets. Yeah, that's why we're doing the patch notes. Also, hello Argent. Because it's so simple, you change a few numbers. It's not like you need to change the entire functionality of a set. You change a few numbers, and things that are previously like no one uses them, people might at least think, oh, I might want to actually test this out. Won't be anything OP. But if you've played the game for a long time and you see these numbers, it's very fast to realize that, wait a second, this is not worth running. And it should be very easy for SOS to also realize that and change things. But if it's not, I mean, we have patch notes here, they can read. I think Night Mother's C tier or B tier? I think B tier would be fair, I think. But everyone's running LSS. It would be B tier if no one was running Major Breeds, because then you could provide some group utility with that. I don't rank Night Mothers too high. I will rank it higher than some of the sets here, but I think it's C tier. And I don't think there's any good way to buff it. Maybe if it gave minor breeds as well, I think it would be fair. So that's also another buff that's easy to get, but if you don't have either one of those, you could get some big value on some builds. And this wouldn't break anything. Major breeds, major breeds and major and minor breeds. You see this A tier boarding S tier. I'd say get you this S tier. You can build around it, and it does what it does very well and very efficiently. But we'll probably get to that next time. So it's 11 p.m. I think we just got through the crafted sets. We have still quite a few left. Night Silence. There's some interesting sets that could have so much potential. I think this one is the one that reduces... it has an additional 5-piece like region or something. And it reduces your sneak cost by 50%. If I recall correctly. Oh, ignore move speed penalty. Okay, so it has the same effect as Vamp. There's another set that reduces your sneak cost and has some region or something, but this is terrible. This is F tier. You would not waste a 5-piece set to get that effect. You could just go Vamp instead. If you really want to be sneaking at full speed, which you're not really doing that much in PvP. I think this is a low C tier, low F tier actually. Only like here. I think Gravestake Collector is more value. You might actually pick up some region from that. Dotovat release new Fallout 4. Skyrimstone over next 10 years will be Fallout 4. Wait, what? Is there a remake or something of Fallout? I would think they would do one of the older ones if they did a remake. Maybe I'll play that. I never played Fallout 4. New edition of Fallout 4. Okay. Might be time to try that out. Night Silence. I think you should... what if you healed while you sneak? This one needs a full redesign. I mean, you can have the current effect. Reduce movement speed penalty of... movement speed penalty of sneak. Heal for 2000, same as his sub. When invisible. 2000 per second. Bam. Would be an interesting set. Maybe even a good one on Nightblade. Doesn't give you any sustain for the cloak. It's not like a Shadow Walker, which gives you healing and stamina. But you have to stand still. So this would be the same, except you don't get the stamina. I think this could be would be fair. Because right now it's just Garbo. It goes with the like Team Night Silence, Invis, Sneaking. I think that would be fair. Noble's Conquest. This is a minor vuln when you pass, and heal over 10 seconds. I think it's gonna disappointment tier as well. Or maybe not even that. No, I think it's disappointment tier. It's probably here. Yes. Because minor vuln is an easy debuff to get. The heal scales based on max health, I think. And it procs from Bass. Yeah, it's 3.4 over 10 seconds, scales based off max health. I think the healing should be scaling better. I think that's the problem with this set. It could be interesting on some Bass builds, for example. But the heal tooltip is like 1k per second. Let's see, it's... what does this mean? Plus 0.59? Which one is it? I don't know. Polyplanes. Follow this one. Yeah, I like Fallout, all of the Fallout games that I played until New Vegas. Fallout 3 was probably my favorite. But I didn't play the newer ones. I didn't play the Fallout 4 or 76. Fallout 4 is okay story-wise, gameplay fun, but story... Oh, so it's just okay, but not as good as the other ones. Don't have all the rights for the ones before Fallout 3. Oh, true. It was Obsidian Entertainment, right? That made the earlier ones. Hope they shadow drop Fallout 3 or New Vegas remaster with TV show this year. New Vegas remaster would be big. I think this Fallout 4 that they're gonna release, it's because of the TV show getting season 2, right? So it's a good marketing time. Maybe someone from SOS actually watches this and takes notes. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, but if not, at least we have some fun content, right? Besides the usual BDs. So I think this one just needs a slightly better healing at least. Or the heal can only activate once every 10 seconds. What if you don't have a cooldown on this? You can refresh the heal. But would that make it stack? That's the problem. You don't want the heal to stack. Because then it's OP. Another problem with this set is that the... Oh wait, no, you always get the minor vuln. It's only the heal that can activate once every 10 seconds. The minor vuln always happens, apparently. Would this be OP if it was concussed instead of minor vuln? Because you would get some status damage too then. It would probably be OP, because you bash 3 times a second. 3 concuss per second, a little bit too strong. We need to find the coefficient for this. (0.21 plus 0.59. I don't know which one it is. Buff the heal by 10%. At least 10%, but 10% is probably safe. Won't make it OP, will make it slightly better. Nocturnal's Favor, this is the one that... Is this the one that steals buffs? No, that's Nocturnal's Ploy. What is Nocturnal's Favor? Oh, it's the dodge roll one, right. Kinda same as the previous one, but this one is a lot worse. I think it's an F tier set. Very hard to proc that. Sometimes, usually if you... I've tried this. If you try this in BDs, you probably get like 2% healing. Because you need to actually dodge an ability to proc it, and I think that's the problem with it. I think it should proc when you dodge solo. Not when you successfully dodge, but when you dodge solo. It makes it less clunky too. They're fixed. When pigs fly, they do then only the first tier to nerf stuff. Oh no. I've been very careful, like I'm not going through any nerfs. Like, I wanna focus on them buffing the weak stuff rather than nerfing stuff. We just rank things here, but there's a lot they can do if they buff the weaker ones. Oblivion's Foe is good. I think this one will be at least B tier. Maybe low A tier. If Clever Alk is here, Oblivion's Foe should be here too. It's good on builds that run Soul Burst or Soul Wield as the spammable, for example. Especially Soul Burst, you can have a lot of AoE dots running. Really good for damage numbers in BDs. I think that's an A tier, and I don't think we changed it. This one is overshadowed by Overwhelming at the time. Wait, which one? Overwhelming has a different functionality. It gives you Magicka back. It's an AoE. Shock damage around you. Gives you 15% of the damage dealt back as Magicka. Very, very different functionalities if you mean the Noble's Conquest. No, for best build enjoyers, any best build needs to be nerfed. Don't give them potential to be used. No, you can give them ideas that are like still not best in slot. So you have more builds that are not running the actual best in slot. You see, like there's a silver lining to buffing weak things. Old Growth Pure, this is when you use a bot you gain regen, but it's less than Red's Vitality. It's like a weak Red's Vitality, but even a weak Red's Vitality is B tier. You just don't use this because Red's, but you could use this with Red's if you want to really stack the regens. And I think what you should, or what should be done to this set, is it should be same value as Red's. I don't see why it's less. It does give you the health regen as well. I guess that's why. Oh. Can you change this then? I'm not sure if you can. Because Red's is 390. That's the better 4-piece. I don't think you can change this one. It's just gonna be B tier. There's no room in the design to really buff that one. And we don't want a new Red's Vitality. Order Threat, okay, I know a lot of people like this set. I don't rate it that highly. I think it's right here next to Dragon's Appetite. I've tried it on a lot of builds. And it's just mediocre. It's just meh. It gives you 8% crit damage. If you want to gank, there's a lot better options. Gives you a lot of crit sense, which is a lot of consistent damage, but if you want consistent damage, there's proc sets. There's a lot of stat sets that work better for that as well. There's things like Rallying Cry and Redstone, like if you want consistent build that sustains and does alright damage at all times, there's better options than Order Threat. And with subclassing, because we get more crit damage, that means the crit damage from Order Threat is worth less than before. Not more than before, less than before. So if Order Threat was B tier at some point, now it's C tier. And that's been my experience with it. I think Order Threat could be buff. I think 8% should be 10% critical damage. Worm called Bone Lord, how you doing? Oblivion Sword definitely an S. I don't think it's S. I think it's A tier. It's not really something you build around entirely. Like you could have another proc here instead of Oblivion Sword and it would still do well if you had like Plague Break, for example. And I think Plague Break is it's probably higher A tier and it's also not S tier. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Ognum Scales, I think this set is better than people give it credit for, but it's definitely low C tier. Oblivion Sword is not better than Order Threat. I think it is. I think it is better. I think Order Threat is very meh nowadays. Has to be double part, and the value you get is not super amazing. Oblivion Sword you can 1-bar. It's just a really good proc ride. I don't rate orders that high. It's very meh too. But I've seen people do really well with it. Seen people get like huge damage numbers in BDs because they used Oblivions for everyone. I haven't seen people run like Order Threat and get giga damage numbers thanks to Order Threat. So it's like a good damage padding set basically in BDs. Outperformed by Plague Break every time. Is it every time? We're gonna have Plague Break here as well, but we can. I was gonna rate it above Oblivions. But I would say it's A tier. That's a proc set. It's from Oblivions for the Plague Break, even on your Necro with Blast Bones. Yeah, but I mean it is better. But I think this also belongs here. Maybe high B tier. I will put it here. We put Plague Break here. There Lancer A tier fun set, but a bit useless. No, it's B tier. I would say Oblivion's Foe is definitely better than Lancer and Basalt and Umbral Edge. So I think it's probably fair to have it here. One heals you when you bash and minor vuln. Oh yeah, but it's very different from overwhelming functionality wise. This stack with other sets 4 can be lethal. Yeah, it's I would say it's worth running on some builds. Like Master Bow, for example, I have it on Stam DK. It makes sense on some builds, but as a set, I don't think it's S tier. It's between A and B. I think that's a good evaluation. Have to double bar orders. Orders front bar is fine. But if you run orders front bar, you're building for you're trying to build for crit damage. Why not just run Null Arca, for example? You get way more burst out of that than whatever crit sense you can. Or something like Essence Thief would give you more crit damage as well. As much as I dislike Essence because of the minigame. Who the fuck has Null Arca? Oh, but that's not a reason to not trade things. Because they're rare. Switch from Oblivion's Foe to Plague Break or Red Dot. Don't get why Titan Cleave is 8 tier set. Set itself is too situational. It's because it makes things work. It makes bomber builds work. You build around it. As a set, it's really powerful. It makes a terrible ability. A very powerful ability. I debated having it in A tier. Because a lot of people... like this is not really... It's very niche. It's very niche, but as a set, it's really powerful. It's ranking sets, not necessarily the abilities. As long as it works. As long as it works. Like there's a lot of other things that buff something that's super terrible and make it slightly less terrible, but there are bomber builds that are very good with the brawler. And that's why it's S tier, because they don't work without that. They have to run entirely different playstyle. There's no cooldown, can be stacked on enemies. Yeah, that's why it usually gets really good numbers. But Plague Break also does that. While being a lot more flexible, because you can run it to more builds. Where was I? In Orknum Scales? I think that can probably use a buff too. It's not as bad as people say, I think, but numbers should be a little bit higher, I think, nowadays. Under 6% health recovery is increased by 800. We can make it 1000. Well, above 60%, the armor you get is, I think it was 6k, right? 6.4. It could be 8.5 to be on par with Trial by Fire, because you're not really getting a buff if you drop low health. You lose the armor, you become a lot swissier. There's a chance you get the health regen tick, but I think it's you're not entirely getting buffed by dropping below 60%. It's quite the opposite actually. So we buff both aspects of the set a little bit. So even though it's the same value as Trial by Fire at the moment, it's still balanced with it. Pelinas, this is a... okay, this set kills you, so we have to put it last, right? This set literally kills you. You take Oblivion damage when you kill people. You get a damage shield, but you start taking Oblivion damage that you can't really get rid of. Well, the only trial set you have, Bow Enjoy Detected. Oblivion's Foe is like 8% in CMX, would have to only play Soul World and Soul AoE to make it better. Yeah, you kinda have to build around it. And when you build around it, is it more effective than other things? Otherwise I would have it in S tier. I don't think it is. Well, with Soul Trap, damage are crazy. Yeah, it is good for damage, so otherwise it would not be here. It would be C or D. Or less. For back bar offensive set is good. Oh, you have it on back bar. You have to switch to back bar every time you do the soul burst. Isn't that a bit clunky? I can see it working though. Chaos Ball set? Wait, what? Oh, this is kind of a Chaos Ball set actually, if you mean Bellinals. I don't know how to fix this one. It used to be the old hybrid set. Before hybridization, this set made you have same amount of spell damage as you had weapon damage. It had a really interesting design. But they turned it into this abomination. So you get a shield, but you start taking oblivion damage. I think the shield should be a lot bigger. And the weapon spell elements. But how do you fix this without damage gets off your max health? So you want to have very low max health as well with this. But how do you make this good without making it broken in PvE? So it could be kind of broken in trash fights, right? If you had like 200 weapon spell damage, or would it be broken? Oh, it's up to 10 stacks. So you would gain 2000 weapon spell damage and take 3k oblivion damage. But that would probably make it best in slot in PvE. So we can't really buff this. You can maybe buff the damage shield aspect. Damage shield scales off the higher of your weapon spell damage. Oof. I mean, what's the scaling right now? It's a 3k base shield. So 3.87 per weapon spell damage, so if you have 6500, that would be 8763. Would be at 25k shield reduced by half, plus the base tooltip. 3876, so you get a 14k shield every time you kill someone, but you start taking oblivion damage. With 6500 weapon spell damage. Would be bigger shield with more stats. I get the design of this set. I think the oblivion damage is the problem. But they can't really reduce it. Otherwise this can get kinda crazy. I don't think they can really... This set is just designed in a way that doesn't leave any room, I think. We'll leave it at F tier, because trust me, it just kills you in PvP right now. The shield is gone in a millisecond, and then you have an oblivion dot on you. Like, it's an interesting idea, but not really functional. Red Eagle's Fury, this is the weapon ability cost reduction and weapon spell damage to weapon abilities, right? Yes. 169 to your weapon skill up. It should be higher values. Like again, this power crap nowadays. It's not really worth it. Make the oblivion dot smaller. Can you? I mean, you probably can, because 10 stacks you get max 1k weapon spell damage. Yeah, I would probably reduce the... You're right. Probably reduce the oblivion dot there. Or is it even necessary here? Do you even need an oblivion dot? You could have a set that gives you stats and a big shield when you kill targets. It wouldn't be OP. Like, why does there have to be an oblivion damage portion? Or if there has to be oblivion damage, it should do something positive as well. Oblivion damage can trigger on-hit effects. So now it could proc other sets like Fury or damage taken procs like the heavy armor passive and stuff like that. So you could maybe maybe justify it. Without really changing the whole concept of the set. But this is confusing to people, because most people probably think that damage you deal to yourself can trigger when you take damage sets and effects. This is kind of confusing, but the whole set is confusing right now. But you have the same thing on a CP right now. This effect and can activate your weapon enchantments and poisons. So why can't we have on a set? This damage can activate your damage taken effects or on hit effects. The Oblivion damage taken can trigger on hit effects or something like that. I don't like the ability cost increase. I don't think that's I get the idea of this set. You have like a timer. You have to go crazy and get a lot of kills before this set kills you. They have an idea with this, but you don't get enough of an upside right now. Andrew, how you doing? Hello, hello. Guys would be rate set when your HP gets lower than 99%, damage going down to Elves, Kassit, and Archonians increased by 1,000,000,000%. I see, I see. Let's give a... Wait, I need to scope. Chat is going crazy. I'd give an A or even S. Block skill I used on NA 0 just slaps it. It's really good for bombing. It is a set you build around. S tier is basically sets that you build around, or sets that are super prevalent or on almost every build. Like Trainee is gonna be there, for example, because everyone runs, or not everyone, but lots of builds run One Piece Trainee. It's very popular. So what if we have Pelinals and yeah, I missed something. No, we were on Pelinals, right? Damn it, I lost track. Oh, Red Eagle. I didn't place it yet. I think it's F tier, especially with subclassing. You don't really want to run weapon abilities. So even though you get 169 more weapon spell elements to weapon abilities, it's still worse than sets here, because only the weapon abilities in the world of subclassing, where most of your damage comes from class skills. So we need to buff this. But I think it's high F tier, it's not really... I think Nocturnals is better, and his spark. Nocturnals is better. Probably have it there. So it should bring a lot more value, for sure. Because it increased the cost of your weapon skill abilities. Oh, I thought it was a cost reduction. Hold up. This is terrible. It's like here, perhaps. This should bring a lot more value. If you have a fucking cost increase on this and it's only the weapon skill abilities. You don't want to make it a gank set though, where it's used with some onslaught one-shot cringe. But it should be a lot better. So I think 600. It's on par with Automaton and War Maiden and whatnot. It could be more because there's cost increase. Let's do 700. It's a lot, but it doesn't buff. It only buffs some gank builds. So you would run this on a gank build. Maybe 700 is too much, but you have War Maiden, you have Swamp Raider giving 600 to all poison damage. It should be at least 600, but then how do you justify the cost increase there? No, I think it should be 700. If it wasn't 700, then you just run Automaton, right? Or is Automaton still 400? Might be. Yeah, it's still 400. It needs to be 6. It's gonna be on the patch notes to be on par with War Maiden and Swamp Raider. And Iskramor, I think, is 600, right? Oh, this is also 400. Those all need to be updated. But yeah, I think this can be 700. Because of the cost increase. Redistributor is healing teammates when you overheal. I don't think it is as bad as people think. I think it's C tier. Maybe even mid C tier, but it's not amazing either. Aaron, how you doing? Hello, hello. It's going, not bad, not bad. We're making a tier list right now. We're almost done with the crafted sets. Anything I would do to redistributor? We're also making patch notes for the sets that are not super amazing. This one I think is a lot of healing, right? But there's a cooldown. Once every 1 second, scale space of max magic or stamina. When you overheal yourself. This is kind of something that happens all the time when you're healing. If you're not being focused, or even if you're being focused and you heal for more than your max health, I think it happens quite frequently. I think this set is a lot better than people think. 663 base, and if you get... you overheal every second, if you get even 1400 on that, it's his sap for the teammates basically. Oh, it's 0.055. So let's say you have 30k stats. How much is that? 0.05. So it would be 2k at 30k stats. I think it's fine. I don't think we need to change that. I haven't actually tried this too much. This said. Could be pretty decent values. On paper it's there. Maybe someone in chat has tried the set, but more powerful, yeah, the more expensive are your abilities. Yeah, but is that fun? I don't know. Do you remember I was trying to craft something sort of a hybrid based on the set like 6 years ago? Oh, Bellinals? Yeah. Back in the good old days, I preferred how the game was back then. I don't think hybridization was a good thing. Focus so hard on spreadsheets, they forget about fun altogether. Even spreadsheets, like how do you justify most of the sets here? If you look at any spreadsheet, there's things that are less valued than something else. Any spreadsheet with actual math would tell you that that's not how things should be. I think spreadsheet is just used as an excuse to be lazy. There's no reason not to buff these sets a little bit at least. Or so many of them. Make it about their fun, not their customers' fun. Planning on posting those patch notes on forums or somewhere, so hopefully devs read it like it taken into account, even if it's just 1%. I mean, this will be on YouTube. I'll probably go over the patch notes once they're finished in the end as well. I feel like you could buff redistributor a little bit. You could make the coefficient like 10% bigger. It probably wouldn't be... because it's not really meta right now. You don't really see this being used. I will admit I haven't tried this set too much. I think I've tried on PTS, but that's about it. So you could make it 0.06 coefficient. It won't break things. It would maybe encourage people to test this out a bit more. Because if people are not using a set, then you kind of want to encourage them to do so. Make it interesting. It's not interesting enough if people are not using it. Pets, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. So you can give it a 10% buff on the coefficient, and I think it's fine. No, hello, Pets. How are you doing? Appreciation was a step back to build diversity and skill ceiling as part of things they did to make the game more casual, which was bad for the veterans and long-term players. 100%. 100%. Not a fan of hybridization. Seeker Synthesis, this is the set they nerfed because it allowed too much potion spam. Reduce spot cooldowns when you use an ability. But now it's just not amazing. I think D tier, only around here, the unless combatant innate axiom tier, I would say. They over-nerfed it. Dirty Senu, how you doing? Hello, and thank you. Where are you from? I'm from Finland. This set, there was a problem with the set. There was a reason why it was OP, but now it's just too meh, I think. What if it also increased your potions, what your potion did? Increase the effectiveness of your potion by 1% per ability cast. Kans Suomesta. Jep. Tehdään tässä patch noteja tällä hetkellä. Ja tier listiä. How would this be on the... We could make this even more of a potion set. But then you have to have a max stack, because you can intentionally not use the bot and then get some crazy modifier on it if it has no cap. That's probably too complicated. Damn it. What if it was every 1.5 seconds? Because 2 seconds I think is too long of a cooldown. It's not really good nowadays. I think it had no cooldown. I think 1.5 would be fine. And now it would be worth using. Stensrat, this is a disappointment set. Not D tier, I think, or no, it's D tier, I think. High D tier, maybe it's here next to Chimeras. I'll play for 2 years at least. Have a question. Can you still do the fun with old school bombing with that cleave? Oh yeah, you can. It's S tier for that reason. It's really good for bombing. Build around that. You can definitely do that. Stensrat needs bigger numbers. Even if you fully stack it, or wait, no, this is just when you take dot damage, you gain armor and healing receipt. I think the duration was the main issue. It's like 3-second duration or something like that. It means that you can't really one-bar it. Thank you for the follow, Dirty Sano. Kiitti followksesta. This is 3-second duration. It should be, I think, at least 6 seconds. 6% healing receipt and 2.5k armor. It's not very impactful. But even with 5 seconds or 6 seconds, you don't really want to one-bar it. No, I think you need to increase the values here. You can keep the low duration, but the values should be a lot bigger. Healing received 6% to 9%. Armor, I think you do a plus 50% that too. Or you can double the armor, it won't be OP. But I think 5.2k armor and 9% healing receipt would be... maybe still not even that good. A lot of healing receipt. But the armor would be less than other options. I don't think it would be OP, but we should do poly 4k. If we buff the healer receipt by 50%, then let's buff the armor by 50%. 2585 plus 50 equals 3.8. 3880. Just right now it's 2585. Poly is still bad, but slightly less bad. Serpent's Disdain. Okay, well, this one is easy. It's a set you build around. And is very efficient and effective at what it does. I think it's S tier. Poly here. A bit more common than Acuity, I'd say. Okay, we have 2 rows left. Shackle Breaker. Ay. How would I rate this? I actually don't like Shackle Breaker at all. But the meta is different nowadays. Back then you would rather run New Monacolite or Hunting Trades than Shackle Breaker. Back when Shackle Breaker was popular. But I think nowadays Shackle Breaker would be rated more highly. Probably right here or something like that. Don't know what you mean, definitely needs a buff. Wait, which one? Shackle Breaker? Yeah, Shackle Breaker needs a buff. Sensor out that as well. Old School used to be a steady set. Yeah, but I never liked it. I just don't think the value is super amazing there. Oh, Disdain. Ah, yeah, because your favorite set, right? I see. Yeah, because you got both regions and you got some offstat as well from this one. You can buff this a little bit. I don't think it's... So you get almost as much as you get from a Crafty Alphic, for example. But you also get the other stat. So you can have the same amount of stats. Even if your 2 to 4 piece are not as optimal. But you can do like 10% buff to this set, it won't break anything. And I think Crafty Alphic is also bad, so we're gonna buff that once we get to it, but... It should be 2200... Still to 2280. Small buffs, but... Yeah, I don't know what to do here, or how else to change this. It used to be very popular on hybrid builds, back in the days before hybridization. I think it was either Shackle Breaker or you ran Belly Nose. But yeah, not super amazing. Kalidor's Curse, this is also kind of bad. This is when you deal damage with light or heavy attack. When you're below 50% health, you heal but you don't heal for a lot, and I think it's the like kind of inconsistent and clunky like Nocturnals. Kind of tries to do the same thing, healing, but in a similarly clunky manner. So I don't think we value that too highly. How could that be good? Is there any... anything we can change here? You could have a scaling modifier. So while you're above 50%, the name is cursed though. Shouldn't there be a downside? What if you deal damage to yourself when you're above 50%? And then when you're below 50% you get a big heal if you light or heavy attack. That could be cool. I don't think anyone runs this set right now. It's just boring. Oh, you can light attack and get a small heal if you're below 50%. But the set has, it says Salitos Curse. So maybe it should have a curse for yourself as well. Should be Oblivion damage. I think so. I think any self damage should be Oblivion damage. The game poly goes into billion calculations for armor and damage reductions and whatnot otherwise. Deals... maybe let's start with 200. Or we can have a static Oblivion damage too, without coefficient. I was gonna say it could scale based on your max health, but what if you do 800 to yourself while you are below 50% health, dealing damage with a light or heavy attack, heals. So this is the this is kind of a big redesign, but I think this would be cool. For the most part, we've just buffed the numbers and changed things to buff the abilities, but I think here there's some room to make this interesting. Heals you for say 3000 base. No, that's a bit much because it's gonna scale based on max stats, right? So you could maybe double the heal here. 941, and how much is the scaling? 0.078. Plus 0. If you double that, 0.15. Coefficient, maximum magic / stamina. So if you had 30k stam, that would be 4.5k. So you would get a 6k heal with light axe if you drop below 50%. If you're above 50%, then I think this could be 1k Oblivion damage. I think that would be interesting. Okay, maybe one of the crazier changes here, but why not? Shed Burden. Oh, this is the companion set. It's just not usable in PvP. It does nothing, but it doesn't kill you. You get some 2 to 4 piece lines, I think. %6 of damage you take is transferred to companion instead. But this has no. The other set has cost reductions when your companion is dead. So it does something if you don't have a companion. But I don't know if this this set already does a lot. I don't think you can add things here. It's just a companion set. You don't run it in PvP, period. So F tier, no changes. Shattered Fate. I don't rate Shattered Fate too high. Do I rate it above Night Mother's Gaze? If you don't have major bleeds. You gain a little bit more pen, but you get no weapon spell damage and you don't get the crit chance. It's arguably better for ganking. I think it's kinda on the same par. Pen is really good. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's a little bit better overall. Would I change that? I don't think you can change that. It's not that much worse right now. It's a little bit worse than the actual good options that we'll get to later. Sludge. Sludge is also kind of underrated. Pretty good damage, but single target. There's a way to make it better. Or more versatile. But right now it's probably here in Disappointment tier overall. It's alright in duels. That makes it B tier. I'd say it's B tier. Oh, it's above Ashen Grave. And Forest Raid. Maybe the unperfected weapons too. I think Swords is here. Eden ran some Dragonborn PP raid with all of us in Sludge when it came out. Yeah, I think it... wait, it was different in... I think the damage was better with Sludge. But it always had the proc sense. And I think it's fine if it keeps the proc sense. But it should be per target. Or there should be no cooldown. So you could use it in more than just 1v1s. No cooldown. It's 10% proc sense. 6-second cooldown. No cooldown, but then it can proc right after it procced previously. 6-second cooldown per target. Just make it like that. It's probably A tier then. At least. Song of Lame is the when you drop below 35% health, you heal. I think this has some potential too. I think it's here around Orknum level. Maybe better than Eternal Hunt, but it's not good enough. I think it needs a bigger tooltip. Scales based on health. Or you reduce the cooldown. It's always easier to reduce cooldown. Would make it more interesting too. Now it just heals you once. You can't make it super high tooltip. It's 3 seconds, but you can make it like super low either, because then it's not impactful. I think this should be 2 seconds cooldown. So if you stay low health, it's gonna try to like keep you up and it does damage while keeping you alive. Could be interesting. So you can cool down 2 seconds. Could be very interesting. Or the percentage could be higher. When you take damage while under 40% health. Because you don't want to be below 30%. You usually want to heal out of that. And this set is actually going to heal you out of that. So the cooldown reduction is justified, but we could also keep the cooldown and just reduce the threshold to, or increase the threshold to 40%. But I think this is more interesting if it's like this. It has more damage potential than... So you just kind of play around low health, maybe block so you don't get bursted. Maybe some build with bot cooldown cliff so you don't get CC'd either. Just hold block and proc this set over and over again, could be funny. So if they reduce the cooldown, maybe. Could even be 1 second, technically. Would just make you very tanky at low health, kind of, because you heal back up a little bit. Won't be broken because the tooltip is really bad. I think the highest it got was like 3k or something like that, or 4k tooltip. So 0.08 of max health. $6105. If you have, let's say, 50k health, that was, it would be 5k tooltip. But the proc condition, I think it's fine if it's 2 seconds. 1 second would be a bit crazy, arguably. What was next? Spectre's Eye. This is when you cast a magic ability, you get major evasion. It's kind of overshadowed by Gossamer, which is the same thing but for your whole team. I think it's also here in C tier. Or maybe even D tier. It's probably high D tier. This major evasion is a pretty nice buff to have. It has good duration as well. Is there anything that we could change here? Spec can occur once every 30 seconds. Why? Remove the cooldown. Small buff, but no cooldown. Why is there a cooldown? It's just major evasion, it's nothing else. Why should there be a cooldown? And cooldown is the same as the duration. There shouldn't be one. It's crazy. But it's a long duration buff. It's still D tier, I think. Back parable. Spell Parasite, this is the one that gives you back magicka when you take damage. But I think it's kinda meh. In theory, you could make a build that blocks with ice stuff. So it's not mag regen, so you get the magic back even if you're blocking. But the value is really bad. I think it's D tier actually. It's probably here. Around Chimera's Rebuke. Devi, thank you for the raid. Thank you. How's your stream? Welcome everyone. Doing a little tier list right now. Hope you're good soon. Is this still less than reds, right? Yeah. But it gives you regen while you block, which is different than reds, but it's not really doing enough right now. Things like you also need to take damage very frequently to get full value from this. Every 0.25 seconds, you get 63 magicka. So if you take damage every 0.25 seconds, that would be 500 mag regen. I think this could be 100. You don't take damage every 0.25 seconds, and you don't get stam regen. You don't have any scaling for this region either, which you do on Breath's Vitality. I think Spell Parasite could be instead of 63. 63 Magicka to 100. Won't be OP. You still get poly less on average than the Desert Rose. It's 2k every 4 seconds. So yeah, most of the time you would get less value than this. Oh, you were doing this fast buckler, Brock. I did that last summer, or tried to do it. We did get kinda close, but the group disbanded. It was unfortunate. That's a really tough one. Wish you good luck with that. It's not an easy trifecta. The 100 Magicka would be... You might consider this set. Still not good, probably, but... 252 at best scenario. Garbo F tier? It's not F tier. It's not F tier, but... It's definitely D tier. Stoon's Favor. This was also very popular back in days. I'd say it's better than New Moons and some other sets here, but the proc condition makes it kinda awkward. You usually have very low uptime on this, even if you have ways to off-balance targets. I don't think it's D tier. I think it's C tier. I think it's better than Shattered. Shattered is better for ganking, but it's not best in slot for ganking anymore. I think it's here. It's like a little bit above Shattered and Night Mothers. Some Stoon's Golden Gear hidden somewhere. Yeah, me too. Me too. Is there anything we could change with Stoons to make it more up to date, I guess? Modernize it. It's a decent amount of pen, but it's not more than twice fanged, for example, which is easy to keep on. I think it should be on par with twice fanged when it comes to pen. Twice fanged is... or it could have like half the pen at all times, like twice fanged. This one is up to 5 times. 5.6. Well, it is actually same, but it's way easier to keep up the twice fanged. It's around the same, it's a bit less. Really fun on Templar with toppling. There's better options. Yeah, it's just a bit outdated. So good with Adric into multiclass. Both of those on Unite Blade. Stones. You land the toppling off balance before. Maybe it's good for ganking actually. Or for like toppling into Bobrok combos, but I still think it could be a bit better. You don't want to overbuff this though. Yeah, I think subclassing made this better. So what's Holy Loves? Hello. 1487. Yeah, you just use the 5 piece. I'm not counting the 2 to 4 because then you'd also count the 2 to 4 on the Twice Fanged. Which also has the pen. For most builds, it's just easy to keep on. Where did I put Stones here? C tier. Maybe it's B tier. I'll put it B tier now. I'll put it above Ashen and Forest Raid. Why is Forest Raid here actually? It's just crit sense. It's better with subclassing nowadays, but I don't think Forest Raid belongs here. things like here, sort of crit sense, but I think stuns could be same as twice fanged. Twice fanged was 5 on 6 and 5. Let's give it like 400 more pen. Just a small change. Lava's favor gives you ulti when you dodge solo. 9 ulti over 3 seconds. Kind of a meme set. I think it's high D tier, probably. Although it's kind of the same as Nocturnals, but the ulti gen is better than the healing, or heal over time. I think probably high D tier. And I think it's easy to fix this one too, because I think Tavas is... you need to actually dodge or something. When you dodge an attack, so just make this when you dodge. And it's a lot more usable. Telvanni efficiency, this 10% cost reductions to everything. I think it's gonna I think I rated this a bit higher previously because it was really good on Werewolf, but Werewolf's abilities are really expensive. You wanted both the magic and stem cost reductions. But I think there's better things now, so we probably leave this at D tier. But this kind of like Seducer, but better. Where's Seducer? Seducer is actually C tier, I think. Yeah, so we have to place this above. I think above some of these things here. I think I'd rather run Ancient Dragon God. I think 10% should be 12%. To make it a little bit more usable. Oh, it's actually 8%. I thought it was 10%. Did they nerf this? Pretty sure this used to be 10%. That makes it worse than Seducer at the moment. Maybe high D tier. So this would be 12%. So we made Seducer change to 15% earlier. It is also ult cost and health cost reduction. Tarigar Strike, this one's an interesting one. I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for. It's 10% damage. But there's a problem with it. It's easily fixable. You can in theory use this for ganking, heavy attack ganking. You stomp off the heavy attack. Which is a bit of a problem. It's really good for 2 to 4 piece if you need weapon spell match from a crafted set. I think we rate it here, because ultimately it is a disappointment. At the moment, but you could make it like another set, a dungeon set called Nick Sounds, where it procs when you release the heavy attack. So people would use more than the 2 to 4 piece crafted. So what is it? Say on next sound. Completing a fully charged heavy attack. So it should say the same. So now you can get a 10% damage buff. This could be very good. There's also Nick sound, but this one is also debuff on the target. So it does a bit more than Tarikers. Threats of War, this is also a disappointment set. Alright in theory, but I think it's even more of a disappointment than many of the other ones here. I'll put it here in C tier. You can do the math, you can check the light attacks you deal in CMX. And you can check your status effects, how many status effects you dealt or procced during a fight. And just pretend that every light attack, you check how many light attacks you landed. Pretend that every light attack procced that status effect. You see how much the status effects did for you. And just add the number that you would get from Tarikers, or from Threats of War. And you'll notice that this set gives you like 2% damage, or 5% at best. Respected Nick, thank you for the follow, thank you. So I think Threats of War is not super amazing. We do have to rate it higher than the Arcanist class set though. And it is higher than the Arcanist class set. Light and fully charged heavy attacks gain 100% stage effect chance. I don't think it procs from medium waves at all. That would be a small buff. Probably still doesn't make it good, but you could proc like 3 charged with or 3 concussed with lightning heavy, for example. Or 3 overcharged with resto heavy. Or double sundered with double heavy. I mean, it already does that, I think. Light and heavy attack. So now it procs from medium waves as well. It's a small buff, but moving on. Lightborn Vilstag, what the fuck is this? Is this a new set? Oh, it's the PvP set, yeah. So this one you can't really make that work in PvP. 12% direct damage to PvP as well would break shit. You'd have used 12% modifier on bow procs and no thank you, let's leave it as a PvP set. It doesn't kill you, so that's better due to 4 times health burden, so let's have it there. Torux. Torux is actually really good on heavy attack builds. I think there's a lot of potential on other builds too. I've always liked Torux. But I'm not gonna give it A tier. We're gonna give it a B tier. Like it, but I don't think you can change it either. It's fine. Fine as it is. Trial by Fire, on the other hand, this is a really good defensive set. But I think there are better options, even though it's the best armor one. But this is probably a high B tier. We'll get to A tier ones Could it be A tier? I guess the best set for armor. But you have to double bar it. That's the downside. I think high B tier. Can try and get lower than that. We can't really change it either. Twice porn star. Well, this is kinda meh. It's better than Huntings and... I mean, technically, if you don't have Shadow Mundus, you can gain 18% crit damage from this set. If you have to run some other Mundus. And you do 7 Divines. For that reason, I think we should try and rank it a bit higher. Maybe low C tier. It's better than this sets. Yeah, like here, something like that. Just very, very outdated. And I don't think you can change it, because then you leave no room for changing Mundus Stones. If they were buffed the Mundus Stones, for example, some of the weaker ones. And twice more stars suddenly becomes a lot better. So I don't think we can have a patch note for that. But right now, C tier. So usually you have Shadow already, or you don't run 7 Divines. The 2 to 4 pieces are kind of meh. Doesn't know what he's doing right now, needs coffee. I do need coffee, but tomorrow it's late. Twilight's Embrace is 10% healing done. That's kind of meh. I think it's very low D tier, and that we can fix. There's a lot better options than this set. Oh, it's healing received even. That's even worse. This could be 20% and it wouldn't be broken. It's a 5 piece with nothing else to it. %20 healing received. Mac Kingski, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Just a couple sets left. Unchained Aggressor is Major Berserk after CC pack. I think that's also very unreliable. You don't know when you get in CC'd, you don't know if you have an offensive window after you get CC'd. I think it's probably here. Very meh. Is there a way to fix that? Perhaps. Perhaps. What if it increased the duration of your CC immunity as well? Would that be OP? After breaking free, gain Major Berserk for 12 seconds. Can occur once every 14 seconds. Why does it have a cooldown, first of all? Cooldown is unnecessary on this one. You could increase the duration of your CC immunity by 2 seconds at least. But we can remove the cooldown. Remove cooldown. Don't need to make it broken. 10% increase Mundustone effect on TBS. Yeah, but then what if they buff some of the Mundustones? I mean, we can have that. Because that doesn't give you too much crit damage. Mundus stones by 10%. You would gain 1.8%. Oh wait, no. Oh yes? You would gain 1.1% from Shadow. 1.1% crit chance. Or crit damage. Maybe we can buff it slightly. At the moment, but if they buff the Mundus stones, then it's naturally gonna become better. Major Berserk sets are meh, because you can always get it from Trusty Reaper's Mark ability. You can always get it from Decay Gap Closer, you can always get it from Sea Snail, you can always get it from the new 5-piece set that also can give you major major courage and major force as well for a few seconds on top of that, and that set is not even good. This set is really bad. So no cooldown, and I think it should increase the duration of CC immunity by 2 seconds. Now it's interesting. Vampire Kiss, this is the where you kill the opponent, you heal for a lot. It's actually a really big tool, but it's bad. There's Polyp here. Yeah, even without any gear, it's, I think I told him. That's a double 4-piece, I didn't know that. Max Stam and Magicom. When you kill an enemy, when an enemy you basically damage dies, it's a lot more reliable. And less frustrating broke condition. I think that's about the best way to improve this set. If no one dies, then that sucks, but the value you can get from that is kind of huge at the moment. It's just that you never get it really. You give up 5-piece, which makes it harder to actually kill people. Use to stack the Vampire Kiss? Yeah. Still might, there's no cooldown. But it should refresh itself. Most things do that. Messing the river crafting, when you have all traits like 75% complete motive, you can craft perfect version of sets with extra epic extra bonus. Ooh. Rest in peace money, I guess, because I'd have to recraft everything. Don't stack anymore. Okay, so there's no issue there. Varus Legacy is an interesting one. I think this is also better than people realize. It's a low B tier, but there are some funny things you can do with this, with Brockstedt and any percentage scaling AoE. Brockstedt works. The deep breath on DK works. You basically double the healing you get from that, and anti-damage. Brockstedt gets like 4 times more damage, which is insane. But it's kind of hard to utilize. It's really funny with... well, I thought it would be funny with Riposte, but I tried on BTS, was kind of meh. But there are still things you can do with Varus Legacy. I think B tier is fine for it, and I don't know if we can change that. Yeah, I don't think you can change that. It's very niche. It's one of the most niche sets out there. Vaster is tutelage. Isn't this another... this when you rest someone, they get major heroism or something like that. Oh, no, they gain weapon spell elements and cost reduction for 10 seconds. That's terrible. There's double regen on the 5-piece, but doesn't really... Oh, you and your ally, you also gain that. It should be a lot more though. Ideally people are not dying. $258, that should be 450. $10% cost reduction, that should be 20%. Or maybe that's too much, 15%. Just have a small increase there. Slightly better, Paul is still terrible. right now, F tier. I think here. Way of the arena is CC break construction. And I think I had a lot of max health on the 5 pieces as well. Oh, weapon spell mess, never mind. 40% construction, people still don't run this. Honestly, if this made break free, literally free, it won't be OP. It wouldn't even be OP. But maybe that's a bit too much. Can be stunned every 8 seconds, right? Yeah, but you don't usually get stunned every 8 seconds. In duels maybe, but you can't waste a 5-piece bonus on that really. And stam sustain shouldn't really be an issue. I think 75%. One case time region. Yeah, I mean, it's 5.2k base cost without any cost increase. Or 5.4k even. So 5,400 minus 75 would be still 1.3k. But you get 4,050 stamina every 7 seconds. If you get CC on cooldown. That would be 1k stam region indeed, if you get CC every 10 seconds. Right now, how this set works, you still get 2160 divided by 7, 600. If you get CC literally on cooldown. If you get CC'd every 10 seconds, then well, it falls down to 432 stam region. It's not really worth it compared to Redst or anything else. So you literally would have to get CC'd on cooldown precisely. But maybe 75 is too much. What if it was 60%? Be 3,240 divided by 10. So if you get CC'd every 10 seconds, which is realistic, you would get 648 stam region. There are other sets that give that, or close to that. But right now I don't think it's an F tier set. It's probably around here. The 5 could be fine. Yeah, but it could be too much. Oh, you also have to double bar it through. No, 75 is fine for double bar set. But right now it's terrible. Definitely D tier. White Strikes gives you a shield when you hit 35% health. It's a pretty big shield, but it's very... it's 15-second cooldown. It's only for yourself. But I still think it's pretty decent. Compared to a lot of other stuff, I'd put it here probably. Now, how do you make this interesting? Because right now it's not really interesting. It's just a worse Imperium. Imperium's every 12 seconds, 11.2. You don't have to drop low health. It's every 15 seconds. You have to take damage when under 30%. I think this shield should be a lot bigger. If they want to keep the long cooldown on this. It could be a 20k shield, 10k in PvP. With 15-second cooldown and proc condition that requires you to drop low health, it would not be OP. Let's just design, thank you for the follow, thank you. Remove HP requirement, easy fix, but then it's just Imperium, personal Imperium. 1335. 20,000. Music buggy? Oh, let me fix that. Sorry about that. I have to restart that. Crafter set, easy to get. That should not matter at all. I think crafter sets should do, like every set should do something different. If you want some set that does something particular, you should get it from a dungeon or crafting. If it's crafting, I don't think there should be a power difference because of that. Especially when there's other crafted sets already that are really OP. Serpents, Demolisher, Wretched, list goes on. So yeah, I think this should give you a big shield because the proc condition is difficult. Would be very interesting. Ignore Battle Spirit? It doesn't need to, like the number can just be higher. So then it's interesting in PvP as well. 15-second cooldown means that you don't really get that for every like time you drop low health. And sometimes you drop 40% health and then you die. You don't get shield. It's a big downside if you have a... You have to be below 30% health when you take damage. In a meta where people just get one shot. But I think that justifies a bigger shield. Tier list, yeah, what's up Drakon, how you doing? Hello, hello. We're almost done for today. Craft sets took a while. You have dungeon sets next time. Then monster sets, mythics, overland, PvP, trial, unknown. It's a lot to go. Lot to go through. Willow's Path, kinda disappointing nowadays. You could argue it's better with subclassing, because you can stack more regen from passives. But it's better than Shackle Breaker, for sure. Put it here. And there's very easy fix to Willow's Path. Just increase the value. So maybe people who stack like these flat regions from Stormcalling and like Soldier of Apocrypha or something, they can get some good value out of this. 18% right now, it should be 25 at least. 18%, 25%. Bam, fixed. Next. Good, moved into a new house. Oh, I hope the move went well. But you see, almost done with the tier list already? No, we have a lot left. We started this last stream. It was day before yesterday. Rocks of Wretched and Willow's Path for max value. Like if a set isn't vulnerable now, it's pretty ass. Yeah, that's also a thing that kind of reduces the value of Willow's Path. You could have this be 30% even. Fuck it, it's not vulnerable, so 30% is the same as major fortitude. It's like having a tripod for a 5-piece set, like additional tripod modifier. I don't think that's OP for a double bar. Red's Vitality, okay, well, you already know it. No, it's not A tier, it's fucking S tier, and I think it's here. And no, we're not gonna have a patch note for Red's Vitality. I think it's fine. So that's the patch notes for today. I think it's getting a bit late. So I need to get food. Next stream on Saturday, I think we continue with the... well, we do some BDs and the event stuff, but... we'll do the dungeon sets. Monster sets, if we have time. We probably won't have time for Mythics and Overland, but... this is how the tier list looks so far. We have a little bit of patch notes as well. And this will be on YouTube at some point. I kind of want to release them at the same time. Ascent Group in B tier. I've changed my opinion on Ascent Group a little bit. Because it's not really used for burst, it's used for pressure sometimes. But it's not A tier. Even for that. It's like low B tier. Post those notes on the forum. Should I? It's a very simple list. There's not a lot of it's not really articulated super clearly. Because that would take ages. I should, maybe I do, once it's ready. More patch notes than Josh had in the last 4 years combined. You know what's the funny thing? You go over this list, how long do you think it would take to change the numbers and just make the game better? You could probably do that in an hour. That's the funny thing. You just change some numbers of the terrible sets and bam, game is better. But yeah. 1 hour is too much. I mean, there's a lot of... we haven't gone through all of this yet. Would be a lot of numbers to change. If it's one person. If it's multiple people, then maybe 1 hour is too much. 20 minutes? Maybe 20 minutes. Just change the number, right? Like most of this is just changing a number. Not really adding anything new. Like there's some that are adding something new, like this idea with the Shadow's Curse or the Night Silence adding a heal when you're invisible. But they have the same functionality on Shadow Walker already, for example. But yeah, there's gonna be more stuff still, a lot more.